What would you do in this situation? You wake up, it's 3:17 a.m., your head's on your pillow, and there's a gun pressed to your cheek. Your wife next to you starts screaming. What do you do? What do you do? Get your next move wrong, and watch your family get terrorized, beaten, or worse. If you're not sure exactly what to do, you need to sit and watch this presentation for the next 6 minutes, and turn off any distractions, and take notes. The following information could literally mean the difference between life and death. I'm going to expose the dangerous lie that most self-defense teachers preach that could cost you the life of someone you love. If you watch this short presentation to the end and do what I say, you will, like thousands of other enthusiastically satisfied Americans, be able to defend against any attacker or even multiple armed attackers from any angle at any time and never fear getting attacked again. Even though it may sound impossible now, you will be able to humiliate even trained fighters and take down violent mobs with your bare hands. It will be like you have an impenetrable force field protecting you and your family all the time. Even if you thought that you are too old, too slow, too short, out of shape. If you haven't done a sit-up since high school and don't have time for martial arts lessons, you need to watch this video to the end, because I will show you a simple way that allows even a 72-year-old with arthritis to throw around a younger, stronger, faster attacker like a wet rag. No physical strength or martial arts experience are needed. In fact, if you have studied martial arts before, you actually may be in the most dangerous position of all because of lies you've been fed by your teachers. I'm Frank Bell, and I'm a 44-year-old systems analyst turned elite martial arts trainer from Duluth, Minnesota. But you probably haven't heard of me because I work behind the scenes, training the bodyguards that protect world-famous celebrities and high-profile public figures. The people who need not only to protect themselves and their clients, but to do it so fast and so effectively that the public and paparazzi never even notices that something violent has just happened. I'm going to reveal to you exactly how to do this in just a minute. But before I do, I hope you don't mind if I tell you why I care so deeply about helping you protect yourself and your family. It was December 23rd, just 2 days until Christmas. My wife Leah and I had our tree lit up with presents underneath for our 2 beautiful girls. Turns out, that may have been what attracted the 2 men into our home that wanted more than just gifts. I woke up feeling a pressure on my cheek. Cold metal. I opened my eyes and looked into the eyes of my attacker. I then looked over at my wife just as the second man pistol-whipped her awake. She cried out while I just lay there, all my years of martial arts training locked behind an iron door in my mind somewhere. Nothing had prepared me for this. Somehow, they found a loophole in our security system. And as it turns out, most home security systems are easily bypassable. And with the internet, thieves are getting to learn more about them more and more. I was forced to sit up and watch as my wife was tied up, pistol-whipped again because she was sobbing uncontrollably. And the only thing that was on our minds was our 2 daughters, Jessica and Angela. The other man brought them into our room, hands tied behind their backs. The men commanded me to tell them where everything I had of value was, or they'll beat my family to a pulp. I cooperated, of course, and I was lucky enough to break free from my constraints, grab their gun, and quickly chase them out of the apartment. But even still, they had pistol-whipped me a few times also, and even more painful was that I had to watch my family suffer and witness the confidence of my family members getting destroyed. Leah and the kids couldn't release the trauma of that event, and after 3 years of therapy with the best psychiatrists, our kids still couldn't sleep at night. So even though we created our life together there, we had to move to a new house in a new part of town because the horror of that night never left that home. That helped, a little, but of course it caused all sorts of other problems, as running from your problems always will, and it didn't solve the root issue that my family and I still felt insecure. The police took 35 minutes to arrive that night, and when they got there they acted like it was the 20th crime of the night. Maybe it was, but that was my family, not a number on a sheet. They were nice enough, but it really seemed like they couldn't care much less that we'd been traumatized. Their only attempt to make us feel better was saying that this kind of thing happens all the time. The people would probably not be caught, and that we should file insurance claims, forget about it, and move on. As if it's just business as usual. I felt humiliated and castrated. The security company was no better. They claim their system is not perfect, and they can't guarantee protection because every installation is unique. That may be true, but it did little to soothe my frustration and outrage. Of course, my 9mm was out of reach in my bedstand. All that time I thought I was better off having a good gun, but it turns out it only gave me a false sense of security. I couldn't believe I froze up. What's really ridiculous is that I've been trained in 13 martial arts since I was only 4 years old. So I, of all people, should have been able to do something. But I couldn't. I don't know what to do in this exact situation, even though I'd practiced many similar situations. This was also a false sense of security. In retrospect, I realized that mostly I was mad at myself for putting false hope in all those things that turned out to be useless in the real world. And I was mad for failing my family. I became depressed for putting my family in a position where they had to go through something like this, for putting them in a position where they had to panic and suffer for years, jumping at creeks in the night. I was the father. I was supposed to protect them. I felt like I had committed a crime against my family, and I swore right then and there that I would never let myself or my family suffer something like this ever again.